Success in real estate is a math problem. It's not a motivational problem. Do any of you maybe not prospect the way you should prospect because you just don't have the motivation? Nobody really gets up and says, man, I just can't wait to prospect today. A lot of people will be like, man, I just don't have anything closing this month. When really the only thing we should be focusing on is our daily action. So do you prospect based on a schedule or a feeling? Standards are the engine that drives you towards your goals. They are non-negotiable daily behaviors that make your goals inevitable. If you do less than 10, you're gonna have less than 50 conversations a week. 50 conversations a week translates to 1 appointment. 3 appointments translates to 1 sale. One of our core values is ferocious follow-up, fanatical follow-up, always making sure we're doing the things to touch base with our leads, to do what we need to do to make our contacts each day. One of the big things I always say a lot of times is you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your daily action. So a lot of times people will maybe set these goals in place and maybe they're big, maybe they're hairy, maybe they're audacious, but then the reality is, what are your daily actions say? Do your daily actions say that you were doing the things to actually reach your goals? So what we're going to talk about today is, are we defining our daily standard each and every day? Are we building a prospecting standard that consistently drives measurable results? Not just basing what we do on our mood or our circumstances or what we feel like doing, but are we setting this in our schedule? And again, I talk to you guys on my team a lot about this, but I find that this is the single biggest hurdle that real estate agents face, is that they are not setting a daily standard. And that's because you don't have to clock in for anybody, right? As a real estate agent, even if you're on a team, you guys know if you're on a team that I don't pay you a salary to show up. It is solely up to you as a real estate agent to get up every day and say, I'm gonna go do the stuff that's gonna make me a successful real estate agent. So we're gonna talk about that. Then we're gonna build consistency. Are you developing the discipline to show up and execute regardless of your motivational levels on any given day? And then we're gonna talk about focusing on the right actions. Are we identifying and prioritizing the specific daily actions that are gonna create business? And that involves eliminating a lot of noise, as we will talk about. We have a lot of distractions in our lives, right? We have kids, we have vacations, we have sickness, we have friends, we want to do fun stuff. And then there's all the distractions within our business. There's the things that we think are important. We think, oh man, I've got to post on social media. Oh, I've got to organize my email. Oh, I've got to analyze and organize my database before I can start making calls. But here's the thing. This is really just a very basic thing if you can get it all down and start putting it into action. So success in real estate is a math problem. It's not a motivational problem. So when you start getting the math right, you're good. Tell me if any of this is you guys. Why do most of you struggle with prospecting? And you don't have to raise your hand, but you'll know who you are. Is it inconsistent effort? Does your prospecting happen in bursts? Maybe it's heavy one day, maybe you get heavy on one session, but then you're absent on another day. Or the next week, your pipeline dries up and then panic starts to set in because you didn't do the things. What about waiting to feel motivated? Do any of you maybe not prospect the way you should prospect because you just don't have the motivation to get on and make the calls, to get with the people, to get denied? Does anybody really like getting denied when we reach out and make phone calls to people? Do we like being told to leave them alone, and why are we calling them, and no, I'm not interested, and please never call me again? No one likes to be denied. So the reality is sometimes the motivation's tough to get there, right? And motivation's unreliable. So if you're an agent and you're waiting to have that right feeling to be like, man, I really want to start prospecting today, the problem is these agents always typically underperform because nobody really gets up and says, man, I just can't wait to prospect today. And then are we focusing on outcomes? Are you, as a newer agent or even an experienced agent, do you obsess over your closings and your commissions instead of your daily action? A lot of people will be like, man, I just don't have anything closing this month. I don't have anything in the pipeline right this second. And they start focusing on the outcome, the lack of commission, when really the only thing we should be focusing on is our daily actions. So do you prospect based on a schedule or a feeling? And so honestly, self-assess this to yourself. I'm not going to make anybody come off a mute and tell me if they think they're good or bad at this, but this is just a place to think about in your own business. How are you doing on this? Do you have prospecting set aside in your calendar each and every day? Is it time blocked? Are you consistent with it? So that's the first thing. And then the agents, when you look at them, the people that are just absolutely absolutely crushing and you ask them what their day-to-day looks like, prospecting is non-negotiable. And I tell a lot of people this. We'll have some agents on our team and even agents that'll leave our team sometimes. There's nothing against those agents. Some of them could be on this call for all I know, right? Sometimes it's just not a fit. But sometimes people will say, Jared, I just don't like having all the conversations. I don't like calling leads. I don't like CRMs. I don't like going into databases. And that's okay, but it's not okay to not prospect at all. You got to figure out what is going to be the thing that lets you prospect to the people. So the standard versus the goal. The reality is we probably all have goals. We're trying to do 120 million in sales this year. That's our sales goal. You'll be able to see this. I don't know if y'all can see my board. There's literally a vision board that's on my wall that sits right in front of me every single day when I wake up. And on that vision board, I have 500 deals, 500 doors, 500 agents, and the #1 mortgage company at American Financial Network. So every day I wake up and I look at that and I think, okay, how close is my team to selling 500 doors a year, right? And I think we're a few years away. We're building. I have 301 apartment doors right now. I'm like, how close am I to 500 doors? I have 410 agents in our organization today. I'm about 90 off from 500, right? So I look at that every single day. #1 at AFN, we were #10 in the country last year. So all of these goals are feasible, but they are vision board goals. They're goals that aren't going to happen tomorrow necessarily, but we're actively working. So that's why I like to ask people when we have these conversations on prospecting and goals and things like that. It's not to put anybody on the spot necessarily, but it's like, is your vision clear? Do you really know where you are going? I know so clearly where I am going when I wake up every single day. It's not even funny. A lot of the times for me, it's just the processes to get there. So have you guys built that vision? Do you know what it is? How many homes do you want to sell this year? How much money do you want to make this year? Valentina getting an investment. What kind of investment? Do you want to buy and hold? Do you want a multifamily? Do you want to flip? What do you want? There's nothing wrong with having material things in your goals and visions either. Like I have a 458 Italia Spire Ferrari. I bought it last week in Arizona. That exact car that's sitting on my board is getting shipped to my house next week. It's been sitting on my board for a while. I have an apartment building on there. I have bought multiple apartment buildings since I built this board. So I kind of did the thing. So that's why I put a door number on it. So like, yeah, I know I'm going to buy more apartments, but what's the door cap? I've got myself on stage again. I've been on stage, I think 3 times at like major events since I put that up there, just making sure that we're promoting and helping other agents. So just think about that and then realize that the goal is different than the standard. So I asked you what your goal is, right? 24 deals, 25 deals, make 200,000, hit a production milestone. That's great. That's where you're going. But the daily, how do I get there, is your standard. So how many conversations am I having a day? Am I consistent with my follow-ups? Do I have scheduled outreach? Standards are the engine that drives you towards your goals. They are non-negotiable daily behaviors that make your goals inevitable. Have you ever told yourself that your goals are inevitable? How many of you have written down a goal and you get to the end of the year and you look at your goal and you're like, holy crap, I'm not even close? We probably have. There's got to be some goals. I mean, there's goals that I have that I look at each year and I'm like, dang, I'm not even close to this goal. But think about that. Are your goals inevitable? See, when I look at my goal board now and I look at 500 doors and I look at 500 agents and I look at 500 deals, like that's inevitable. I know I am hitting all of those metrics, but I wake up every single day with the constant driver of how many conversations do I have to have a day? How many agents do I have to talk to a week? How many XP explains do I have to do per week? How many apartment deals am I analyzing per week? How many deals do I have to buy every 6 months? So think about that when you think about your standards each day. Your goals are good, but the standard is the engine that drives you there and it makes your goals inevitable over time. Goals are also occasional, standards are daily. So the reality is you may not hit your goal for the year, but if it's an annual goal, you won't know till the end of the year. So the reality is the standard is what gets you moving every single day to know, am I moving towards that thing? The shift from goal thinking to standard thinking is really what separates top producers and average agents, because you can't control whether a deal closes, but you can control whether you've had your conversations, whether you've done your input, whether you've done your follow-up, whether you've done all of these things. So the 3 daily prospecting buckets. A complete daily prospecting system requires activity across all 3 buckets every single day. You don't get to choose one because neglecting any one of them creates gaps in your pipeline. So keep that in mind. Number 1 is new conversations, right? Who are the new people you're going to talk to right this second? That's cold outreach, open house follow-up, referral introductions. That's how you grow your top of funnel. So if everybody's in agreement that none of our buckets are full, then we can all agree that every day we have to fill the bucket. We can't stop filling the bucket. And that's easy to do because sometimes we stop filling the bucket because we get busy with what's in the bucket. We get escrows, maybe we have deals going on, we have things happening and home inspections and we're showing houses and we think, okay, I'm fine because I have all of these active clients. But the reality is that we have to fill the bucket every single day. That's number one. The second is follow-ups. Now, I would almost venture to say that the follow-up game may even be weaker than the bucket filling game when it comes to most agents, because that's nurturing your existing pipeline, your past leads, warm contacts, people that said not yet. This is where most of your business actually comes from. Does anybody know how long the average lead kind of incubates in a system nowadays before it closes? So the last stat I heard was between 12 and 16 months. So about a year to 16 months. So a lot of times leads will come in and I'll hear agents say, man, these leads are just so tough. So many of them don't want to buy, or they're not ready right now. They're trying to fix credit. They're trying to do this. That's true. Out of 100 leads, you probably got one that's ready to roll right this second. And you call where they're just like, let's rip. But then you're going to have another 3 to 4 in there that will transact over the next year to 2 years. But we have to follow up with them, because if we don't have the follow up, then when they say not yet and we disappear, the time will come when it is yet, and they will call someone else. And they're going to be like, man, I totally forgot about Dex. He called me 12 months ago and I told him I was a ways out, and then, you know, he never called me again. I forgot about that guy. I ran into an open house when I was ready. I met Elizabeth Pena. She was great. I wrote an offer. I closed in a day. So just keep that in mind. Are we incorporating our daily follow-up with past clients, with people that have already bought from us, with people that know us well? And then visibility touches. This is where I feel like everybody probably does the best on, but I think they do the best on it because they don't want to actually call people. So visibility touches, social media engagement, text messages, right? Checking in, community interaction. They're on their Facebook community post. They're going to hang out with friends. They go to a birthday party. They go to a wedding shower. They go hang out with people in their sphere, and you talk to them and they're like, man, I had 15 conversations today at this birthday party, or I had 20 conversations at this wedding shower. Guys, that's great. Please do it. This is not saying that's bad. This is just saying that's one of your 3 daily prospecting buckets. There's some of you that crush social media, and some of you are like, man, I don't know how to do video. I don't know what to post. I don't know what to do with my hands. And the reality is, like, everybody should be visible on social media today. I had an agent post on something yesterday about their broker, and I went to their Facebook page to try to see what broker were they with, and they had nothing on their Facebook that even said they were in real estate. There were no posts about real estate. There was nothing in her about section that she even had a job. There was absolutely nothing. And I thought, man, this is your sphere, yet all it was just political posts and post of her kid, and nothing about actual real estate, nothing about the fact that she was in the business. Think about that. For you guys that maybe are call machines, are you out there doing the social media engagement as well? We talked about that a little bit last week. Are we taking every review that we get and are we putting it up on social media? Are we putting it out there for people to see? Are we putting it into our presentations? Are we doing things with our actual reviews so that it creates social currency? So you need to work on all 3. 1 or 2 buckets is not a system, it's a gap, and it will hurt you. I promise, because I can see over the years when I've kind of stopped doing one, I saw it hurt my business. If I stopped following up with clients, if I stopped really caring, I stopped reaching out, those clients stopped referring. I know agents that are with us that have been in the business for over a decade, and they have hardly any past client referrals coming in, but they likely just don't talk to them. I've asked this on a lot of calls. If I called every one of your past clients and I said, hey, who's your realtor? Would they say your name? And I think if you've been in the business for 12 months, you'd probably say yes. But if you've been in the business for 5 years or 10 years, and you start calling client from 4 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, and you said, hey, who's your realtor? How many of them would say, oh, it's Jared Davis? I don't know if every one of my clients would say that it's me. Now, I will tell you, I've sold over 1,000 houses, and every year we have a client appreciation party, and every year I still send an invite to every client we've ever sold a house to. I don't know if some of them have moved already though. I get a lot of no replies from some of these people. I don't know, but we do try. So your daily prospecting formula: 10, 10, 10. 10 new conversations, 10 new follow-ups, 10 social touches. If you're on my team, how many conversations is non-negotiable? 10, right? Because if you do less than 10, you're gonna have less than 50 conversations a week. And we know statistically that if you have less than 50 conversations a week, you will not sell houses. 50 conversations a week translates to 1 appointment. 3 appointments translates to 1 sale. Those are just the basic numbers. Now, if you're on this call and you're like, Jared, you're so wrong. I had 20 conversations last week and I just sold a house. That's great, but show me your annuals for the last 3 years and show me that that's exactly what you've been doing every week for 3 years. It doesn't mean you don't get lucky once in a while. It just means that consistency wise, you're not gonna have it. So this is the easiest way to do it. Think about this when you wake up. If in my 3 hours of prospecting, I'm gonna spend the first portion of that, like half the time, getting 10 new people. I'm filling my bucket with 10 new people. After that, you make the pivot, and you make the pivot and you say, I'm not gonna stop prospecting until I've followed up with 10 people that I've talked to before. And keep in mind, if you guys are actually doing the things like open houses and stuff like that, 10 follow-ups should be easy. Most of you guys have access to your free CRM and Bold Trail with EXP, or you're on our team and you have access to the team CRM. I mean, y'all can go onto the CRM and just filter out all your open house people and literally run a call list of everybody that you had an open house with just to say, hey, I'm available this weekend. Just wanted to touch base and see if you had any houses you want to see. Or you can mass text 40, 50, 60 people and say, hey, this is Valentina. I met you at my open house a while back, just touching base because I've got some availability Saturday at 2 and Sunday at 10. Just wanted to see if you wanted to book any showings in. That one thing right there, if you send 100 text messages, likely 10 will reply, and now you're in a follow-up game already. I would prefer you guys make calls and get some people on the phone, but if you're lacking contacts, use your tools, use your CRMs, auto text, auto drop voicemails, do the things that will get people responding to you. And then 10 social touches. That could be anything from reaching out to people in their DMs to commenting on people's stuff to posting some things and getting some traction. The reality is, do you spend at least a few minutes? Don't doom scroll for 3 hours in social media to say you're working, but are you taking a little bit of time just to interact with the people that are in your sphere? The new conversations keep your funnel growing every day. The follow-ups convert the existing pipeline, and the visibility builds long-term brand equity. So keep in mind, if you pull just one of these things out, you're gonna have a problem, because if you don't have the new conversations and all you do is follow up, eventually you close all of your existing pipeline and then your pipeline's empty. But the other issue is if you're building your pipeline every day and you don't put good notes in your CRM and you don't put good tasks in, then the problem is you never convert your actual funnel. So then you don't actually turn that growing funnel into deals. And then that long-term brand equity, this is where your clients are coming into this thing. Friend request your clients, make sure that they follow you on social media, interact with their stuff, but make sure you're doing these 3 things. If people actually respond to you and all of your things, so it's 10 actual phone conversations, 10 actual phone follow-ups, and maybe 10 social touches where they follow back to you, that's a 30 touch points a day, not 10. That's why I said 10 is the bare minimum. Thank you so much for tuning in to one of our weekly training calls. Obviously, you caught the recorded session, but if you're interested in catching any of our live sessions that we do them typically on Mondays. I'm going to put the link below. So if you want to join any of our trainings live so that you can participate, so you can comment, ask questions, feel free to come. This is for our EXP group that we have here, our Omega group of agents, but it's open to anybody that wants to join, really. So if you're looking for coaching, if you're looking for training, feel free to hit that link below, and we'll see you on one of our live calls.